Me neve në studio është Robert Bosch, I cili është ambasadori Holandës dhe e ka merituar me orë një në Kosovë për shkak se e kemi pa aktivitetin e tij të jashtëzakonshëm si diplomat. Thjesht ka bëu diçka të jashtëzakonshme. Kur e ka pa para ambasadës vet që kërkush spindreq rrugët që sa në Prishtinë dhe ka gropa, ka dalë edhe ka fillu vet me I mbush me guri mas një kohë të gjatë kur autoritetet se kanë dreq. Në anën tjetër, e kemi ftu edhe për shkak të zonit e tij kritik që po e dëshmon vazhdimisht përmes postimeve të tij në Twitter. Zonit kritik lidhur me gjana që duhet me ndodh në Kosovë për me u bë vend më demokratik. Mr. Bosch, welcome to Jetan Kosovë. We'll start off with an easy question of why you primarily sort of deserved a spot to be asked to come here. You started to work yourself to fix the roads in front of your embassy. Why did you do that? Why was that needed?
Well, I'm living in Villernia, and every morning I pass the street there, and every time the holes in the road get bigger, and people could not pass anymore, so one side was totally blocked. So all the time there were queues for nothing because of these holes. I mean, it means it's a two-way street, but it became a one-way street. And then, of course, you see these holes and nothing happens. And after, I don't know, months, I thought, why is nobody filling these holes? Even if the municipality is not doing it or the water company is not doing, whoever is responsible, I don't know. Why don't you take let's say, your own initiative and just fill the holes? So I started filling the holes, and of course then my staff says, oh, Mr. Ambassador, you should not do it yourself. We will do it. But of course they didn't like it, but still we will do it. So on the photo you see indeed my staff is doing it. But anyway, I thought, why not? I mean, sometimes you take not the law in your own hand, but the initiative in your own hand, like a civil initiative. It's not for an ambassador, of course, to do, but by chance I'm an ambassador, but still, this is the thing that you will do. Why not? Why do you have to stuck by these horrible holes? I mean, so just do things.
So eventually, when you did this, you put it on Twitter, and I guess municipality noticed it. What happened?
Oh, the municipality thought it was an attack on the municipality. It was an attack on nobody. It was, of course, just to say, listen, it's a civil initiative to close it. And it turned out, of course, the municipality says it's because of the water company, and the water company, anyway, you know how it is. At least, and then they thought I was doing it in front of my embassy, because in front of my embassy it is also a big mess. And they thought I was doing it there for let's say, private reasons. Now they are repairing the street in front of our embassy. They started now this week. But the place where I'm doing it still haven't started yet, but that was not exactly my embassy. It's just somewhere else. So anyway, but this is one of the things that I thought should get following, because I mean, if I do it, why do other people not do this? Why? I mean, it's also, you do things together. I mean, try to do something. When I walk my dogs in the field, there's a lot of junk lying there, and when I come back I have a whole bunch of stuff to throw in a container, because why should you have all this junk lying around everywhere? If everybody would do that, then it would not be so horrible.
So somebody gave you a certificate afterwards. I can see a photo with the certificate. Who was that?
Yeah, that was, I don't know, it's somebody else. I mean, it was, as you can see, it is a citizen of your country. And they were so happy that they said, we really want to give you a sign of gratitude for what you have done. And of course, why not? I mean, of course, as you see on the photo, they came to the embassy to give me some sort of a certificate on behalf of all people in that area. I don't know if it's really true, but even so. It's not that I need it, but I mean, I think this is the thing that everybody should do. I mean, I gave the good example, but unfortunately that hole that I was filling is getting open again. So I thought again to my staff, let's fill it again. But then, no, Mr. Ambassador, no. Anyway, but this weekend I thought maybe I should do it myself. But as I didn't have buckets, I didn't do it. Otherwise I would have done it again.
So you took a little bit of a law in your hands, doing a very useful thing for a community. But let's talk about rule of law for real. What do you think about rule of law in Kosovo in particular? Because I know you're supporting a lot of rule of law projects, not only yourself, but EU has spent a lot of money doing this, so have other development agencies in foreign countries. Are you happy with the result of the help you've given to Kosovo to actually implement the law?
Well, of course, I'm happy with what we have done, but of course the results are not quite evident yet, unfortunately. The rule of law remains a very big problem. For us, for the Netherlands, I mean, I'm the Dutch ambassador, for us, our whole reason of being here is actually to to help the country to improve the rule of law situation. So that is for us the main thing why we're here, because we think it's also in our interest to have countries in this region also where there is a rule of law, and especially when there are potential candidates to become member of the EU, all the more important that you have a functioning
So what are the concrete things? Concrete things where Kosovo is lacking, and what are concrete things you see Kosovo is getting good at or improving?
Well, first, unfortunately, maybe you will mention it later, but if you see the reaction of your, let's say, leaders, political leaders, on the results of the trial, of the, let's say, the Drnica trial, it shows that a lot of things is lacking, because whoever they are, they should, of course, not criticize a court. Even if you do not agree with it, you do not criticize because you undermine the status of the court. If you don't agree, you will go into appeal. But I mean, you as leaders, you don't talk about this at all. Leave it to the ones who are in court.
Which leaders criticize the decision?
That you don't know very well.
It was everywhere. I'm interviewing you.
Yeah, I don't need to mention the names, but they are very high, important leaders who criticize, and I think it's not really necessary. Not necessary. It's actually not done to do such things. As I said, you undermine the rule of law system with that, and you undermine the judiciary, which has already a difficult time anyway, because it's a known fact that many prosecutors do not dare to take up war crime cases. Many prosecutors do not dare to take up high crime cases because they think it will harm their safety, which is of course not very good, because that is of course in any system it harms the country.
And this reaction of politicians confirms that, you think, confirms that they would be at harm if they made such a decision?
That I didn't say. But at least it does not show very big protection for the rule of law system here, or in this case for the judges and the prosecutors who have done the case. So they will not get, let's say, oh, whatever we do, we get the protection of the government or the governmental officials. Okay. That they should have, because otherwise as they are already hesitant to do many things anyway for all kind of reasons, this of course doesn't help to make them feel more confident.
You have, however, in one of your tweets you talk now about local prosecutors, and you congratulated the local chief prosecutor in taking over the post. What are your expectations, really? Because this is a person who has been in the court system even before. What is your evaluation of what effects would this new appointment have on local courts in a time when the locals are taking over from EULEX more and more cases?
It makes, of course, his position even more important than it was before. It has always been important, but now it's even more important because you are in the lead, you are in the leading chair, so you have to take the initiatives.
You have met him.
Yes,
do you think he will dare to take really serious big cases up?
I can, of course, not look into his soul, but I mean, I hope he will do. He will get the support of the international community for sure. He will get the support of you and of all the people who wish the best for this country. For sure he should. But of course, I mean, it's of course easy for me to say you should do things because I'm just an outsider, because he puts himself at risk. But just to say something now, I was, as you maybe told, I was before the OSCE ambassador in Albania. In Albania, the previous prime minister fired 2 chief prosecutors.
The prime minister had the right to fire prosecutors.
He asked, of course, the president to do it.
Yes, okay. Yes. The president, the prime minister through the president, fired 2 chief prosecutors.
Yeah, and the last one was scolded as the whore of the streets, and I don't know what, as an enemy of the country.
Miss Ina Rama, yeah?
Exactly. So, which proves, of course, at a certain moment...
What's your point with mentioning Ina Rama?
What I wanted to say is that if, like you've shown there, all 3 of them, appointed by the same person, when they really started doing their job properly, they were not good anymore because they should go, because they could be a threat to whatever. So I would say, Mr. Lumezi, if he is doing a good job, of course he will be hated by a lot of people. So the more actually he is being hated, or at least being criticized also by, again, they should not be criticized, but if he's criticized, it actually is a good sign. It means that he's doing a good job, because if you are very close to the, let's say, to the higher circles, and not only political circles, but also the circles with money and influence and so on, if you have very good relations with them, probably it's not 100%. So
yeah, but I'll give you an example. Even in his time, he's been recently appointed. There's been criticism that one witness was scared and in one trial and revealed. Measures could have been taken to take this matter seriously, and that person who intimidated this witness by opening up with a name and revealing has had no consequences. So this has happened during Lumezi's time. That
we will see. But first of all, he is only there, cannot see, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know. Time goes very fast. It's a very short time. But I'm sure he will try to take some action against what has happened, because the problem is, of course, as you have seen with this whole Trinica case, it's intimidation of witnesses the whole time, and now, of course, if you go into appeal, and then also this witness, of which the name has now been revealed, it might also be very hesitant to do anything. So it's really a very serious matter, and I'm quite sure he will take this up. I'm quite sure he will do.
Okay, you have criticized clearly. You are criticizing one side of our politics. Your statements were about members of the PDK, but you've also criticized the LDK. You had one of the tweets which says, "A pity that during LDK party congress there seems to have been a lack of openness, was not invited, so no first-hand info." Interesting that you're not holding back like most diplomats who like to keep good relations and just not criticize our leaders. You have done so even openly about a party congress.
Yes, that is of course why we have been, from the Dutch and the German side, we have been helping this LDK quite a lot to improve their political standing.
In what way have you been helping?
Well, not the government, but the countries. So we have the Dutch Christian Democratic Party and the German Christian Democratic Party. They come here very regularly to have let's say, trainings for people, and especially to teach them about women's rights. I mean, women in politics, and about party democracy, internal.
So, what do you think about these elections?
So that's why, of course, although of course I'm ambassador, but still these people are here, and from main parties of our countries, and if they come, of course, I'm also involved in, but of course it was not because they're Christian Democrats. If they would be liberals or socialists, they would do exactly the same. I have done the same with liberals when they came, but still, of course, that's why it goes a little bit to my heart when you see what we have done, telling about the party democracy. Then all of a sudden it seems that the rules have been broken, where you have a secret voting for the leader. It's all of a sudden no secret voting by acclamation, and not even by acclamation the votes were counted. So it is a little bit strange, mildly put, because you cannot. It's a party matter, but still, I feel.
So what are the consequences for those leaders who don't respect democratic, maybe, values of openness and transparency? Is there, in the end of the day, going to be any consequence, or you will just continue with your project as usual, even though you don't like all these things that
It's not my project; it's the project of these two parties. It's up to these parties, of course, what they are going to do. Maybe I don't know, because there, of course, I'm not involved. I'm only seeing that it's a pity that a lack of openness what is there, and also and I was also not invited. Normally speaking, we are invited. Not that I go to this party congresses, but normally the diplomats are invited. But it was also not the case. Nobody was invited, as far as I heard. Even
nobody. So no ambassador was not invited.
No.
The press, we know, we were stopped from reporting on it, but you were not invited.
No. We were not invited. Normally we are, so that's why I was a little bit surprised. That's what I said also there. I was not invited, so I was not have any first-hand information. But still, normally you're invited. So, well, we were not invited. Maybe there will be a new Congress, I heard. So maybe now we will be invited.
You also, you were also the only ambassador recently in the parliament on May 29th when you said Kosovo Assembly postponed voting on special chamber, allegedly due to last-minute receipt of amendments to Brussels. This was regarding the tribunal law.
Yeah.
Can you just wrap up for us? Many people feel the tribunal is aiming only at Albanians. It's a chamber set up only to chase maybe one side, while the Albanian victims have not gotten so much justice from the war crimes trials in Belgrade. What do you say to Kosovars watching you who say, why should we have this special chamber set up?
As you very well know, Mr. Marty made a report, I think it was in 2001 or the end of 2010, I don't know, I mean, at that time. He published a report as a special rapporteur for the Council of Europe, and it was quite a damning report for the...
But lots of claims of that report are not a subject of this trial. Not the same criticism in that report is not necessarily being tried in this.
Yeah, but the majority is, and that's why I still think, and everybody says that's why this court would be very good, because if, as it's being said, this report is talking a lot of nonsense, that it will be established in that thing, and then people will be, let's say, they don't have this hanging over them anymore, this thing, they are really criminals and so on. If they are not criminals, they should be very happy to go there, because then their honor is saved, and they will be, everybody says, oh, see, we were right, we were nice people, we were very nice people, we were just... liberating our country, and we have nothing wrong. So that's why, of course, this court is very important, because it will, let's say, save the face. It gives at least people the chance to save their face and to show indeed that they were only defending their own country and go for the rights of the Albanians that were let's say, put into jeopardy under the Milosevic rule.
You are in the end of your ambassadorship here in Kosovo. You've been here about 4 years, and before that in Albania for 2 years. You have 3 years in Albania as head of mission, in OSCE mission in Albania. You have a house in Albania, so clearly you love this region. What is that you are now leaving this job in particular? What has left most impression on you, you would say, in these last 4 years in Kosovo? What do you most regret, and what has left the most impression on you?
Okay, the most impression is in both countries. As you rightly said, I've been a very long time in this region. It's of course a shame that I don't speak more Albanian than I do, but it's a very difficult language. But I think I like the people a lot. I think they're very nice people. The people deserve better. They deserve a better future. They deserve, I'm very sorry to say, they deserve better leaders. They deserve people who really go seriously to improve the situation. Let's hope that the new government, a relatively new government here, does more. But I mean, I'm also active at the request of the president to make speeches for people to convince them not to migrate and just to stay here to work for the country.
Why only the president?
Yeah, she asked. The president asked us to do this, to make speeches and to help her, because it was one of her requests, to make people, convince people not to go. And of course I'm trying to do that, but of course if I talk to the people, I must also have something to offer. And what I want to offer is that indeed the situation is getting better. And as long as the rule of law situation is not getting much better, of course, what can I say? I mean, I want the situation to be better. I want the people to have a future here. I want people to be proud of their country. I want people to say we have a future here, because still there's a lot of possibilities. You have a lot of young people who want to do a lot of good things. And I really want that it's not only, let's say, hope, but more than hope, but at least something comes out of it. And what I can regret then, that maybe I have not contributed enough and speak out a lot, but maybe in the beginning I should have spoken out more. When I was in Albania, I didn't speak out so much because when I came there, I said I will criticize in private and not too much in public. So I criticized a lot in private. Here, my role is still maybe because many people say that I'm so active. I think many others are also active, but they might be criticized much more in private. My role is here now, especially at the end, to criticize a little bit more in public and leave it to say the truth. Maybe I should have done that also before more. But I mean, we should all speak out much more.
You are going against the wave of other ambassadors who are seen by the locals as not getting enough criticism, actually being given a blank check to continue in the name of stability, to actually continue bad governance practices locally.
But as I said, maybe the others are criticizing much more behind closed doors, and that might also be very good. As I said, that I did in Albania. When I was there, I did a lot about, and then I also reached quite a lot. But here I do a little bit more in public.
But for the end, internationals have not been without their share of scandals lately in Kosovo. What do you think about international involvement, aid money, as well as their rule of law assistance having not gone so much to plan?
Well, I mean, you work in a difficult environment, and if you work in a difficult environment, you need also to have the cooperation of all sides, and so you cannot blame the foreigners as such. And
why not? And, you have been
involved. But you are, even if you're involved, you are here to help. You are, in principle, you are here at the, let's say, at the invitation of the country.
I know, but if you get corrupted, or if you are prone to being corrupted?
I don't think that the people are corrupted. That is, of course, just prove it first. Of course, I know you have these rumors about EULEX. I don't think
not rumors. True. There's a whole case, investigation ongoing.
But as long as the investigation, if nothing's proven, people are innocent. So we don't know anything if anybody was corrupted. But even so, if I don't know how many people have been here since 2008 from EULEX. Should there be one corrupt person, I think it would be very few people who were then in that case. But as I said, nothing is proven. So I mean, we should not jump to conclusions, because I mean, you can tell that I'm corrupt, and then there is all of a sudden I'm corrupt. But based on what? I mean, we can't say everything, because I mean, it should at least have some basis.
But how about you internationals being involved in always brokering coalition agreements in our country? Don't you think you know that these things, behind closed doors, you have a lot of influence? Do you think it has been positive? Can you, in the end of your ambassadorship, be critical to the influence that your internationals have had in our quality of our governance?
Yeah, with due respect, I don't think we have so. I mean, I can only talk about myself, because I do not know. Maybe some countries have done. I don't know, because I mean, I don't know. But I mean, the thing is, many times, and that was, as I said, I had also this experience in Albania. They always asked, "Help us, do something." And sometimes when I did something, "Why are you interfering?" Eh? And I said, "Yeah, but you ask me all the time to do something, and now I do something, and it's not nice." So again, the thing is, it's not that the foreigners want it, but I mean, if nothing happens, then because you have seen now with this, with the last elections, I mean, how long you were without the government? 9 months or something like that. So of course, at a certain moment, it was a total deadlock. Total deadlock. Nothing was happening, and if then.
So are you happy with what is happening now?
It was probably the only solution that was possible in the end. So what can I say? But I mean, I hope that something good comes out of this, because I mean, as I said, I do not know. But I mean, the problem was, without any interference of foreigners, nothing would have happened. Nothing, zero. And would that have been better? Maybe we would be without the government still.
Okay, so you are confessing that the foreigners interfered?
That I interfered, at least they gave some strong advice. Let's put it that, but everybody knows. So I mean, of course, they gave some strong advice. Yeah.
Are you coming back to Kosovo for the end? And as what will we see you come back to Kosovo as?
Well, first of all, I will come back anyway, because I mean, as I said, I like the country. As I said, I have this house in Albania, so it's not exactly very far away. I mean, not a house, a flat. But so I will have these things, and I might come back also as an advisor for the rule of law, but that is not sure. Maybe.
Welcome back, whenever you come back.
Thank you.
Ishte ky ambasadori Robert Bosch, ambasadori Hollandës në Prishtinë.